Hello everyone. Today's topic is borane and alkyl borane. So in this topic I'll be dealing with the boranes and alkyl boranes. In the next video I'll be dealing with the applications of boranes. Okay. So moving on to boranes and alkyl boranes. Boranes is prepared by the what is borane? So you know that borane is nothing but it is the boron compound, that is your BH3. Okay, it can be like BH3. If you are taking the two molecules of BH3, it will give you the diborane, that will be in the dimer form. So how the borane is prepared? Borane is prepared by on treatment with the sodium borohydride and the boron trifluoride. Okay, so you are taking the 3 molecules of sodium borohydride and 4 molecules of your BF3, that is your Lewis acid, and then that will give you the 4 molecules of your or BH3 plus 3NaBF4. Okay, and then this borane will exist in a dimer form, which is known as a diborane. It exists as a mixture of B2H6 and BH3, as it will exist in equilibrium. Like if you will take the BH3, 2 molecules of your BH3, that is your, or in the equilibrium it will give you B2H6. Okay, vice versa, if you will take the B2H6, you will get 2BH3. Okay, and here we are taking the aprotic solvents that will act as your electron donors, such as your ether, tertiary amines and sulfides. Okay, this under this solvents the borane and will form the Lewis acid base adduct. All right, so you are taking the ether molecule, and then if you are treating it with the BH3, that is your borane, and you will generate this oxonium borate form. Okay, similarly if you are taking the amines, tertiary amines, if you are treating it with the borane, and then you will get the respective product over here. Okay, ammonium salt formation, ammonium borane. And again if you are taking the sulfides and then you are treating it with BH3, you are getting the respective product over here, the sulfides product. Okay, and remember here thus the whatever the vacant orbital which will be present will make the borane a target for the nucleophile. The vacant orbital which will be present in the borane will make the target for your nucleophile to come and attack over here. Okay, to the borane atom. Moving on to next slide. In the mechanism, if we are taking an alkene, if when an alkene is treated with the BH3, if you have to open it up, you can write it as the BH2H, bond H, right? So this boron will have a partially positive charge, whereas the hydrogen which is attached will act as an hydride which is having the partially negative charge in it. So here what happens here is the hydride transfers to the carbon atom, and the hydrogen bond will go and attack to the carbon atom. Meanwhile the alkene will come and attack to the boron. So you will get the 4-membered cyclic transition state, 4-centered cyclic transition state. Okay, so after the formation of the 4-centered cyclic transition state, you have that will be followed by the formation of your or alkane. Okay, if you will see here also, when this bond goes and attacks, this hydrogen will comes and attacks over here. That time you will get it, then you will get RCH2. This alkene bond, when it goes and binds to the BH2, then you will get CH2 bond BH2, right? That is your product. In between there is one cyclic transition state over here. Alright, then moving on to next point, and alkene reacts with the borane to give the new borane. So if you will study here, in the first step, that is you are taking general alkene, and then if you are treating it with the borane, and you will generate the new boranes. This is your monoalkyl borane. Okay, only one alkyl group is present over here. And again if you are taking the alkene and you are treating it with the monoalkyl borane, you will get the dialkyl borane. And again if you are taking the alkene and you are treating it with the dialkyl borane, and that will give you the tertiary trialkyl borane. Okay. Alright, and then moving on to next point. Here what we are doing is just the addition step is lower than the preceding step. That you have to tell. And in this all this reaction, whatever the successive addition steps are there, that is slower than the preceding steps. Alright, here you can see here that is your V1 is greater than the V2 is also greater than the V3. As a result, whatever has been attributed to that, at the when there is the increasing in the steric bulk of the partially alkylated borane reagent, and then in this case will takes place. Okay, if there is the increasing in the steric bulk, that is your alkyl group is going on increasing in alkyl groups are going on adding up. There is the bulkier group which is attached with the borane, and then you will have this phenomena. Okay, so moving on to here, if we are taking the cycloocta 1,5-diene and if we are treating it with the borane molecule, one of the alkene group will reduce to form the BH2 over here. Okay, this bond will reduce and you will have the attack of the borane atom, and then you will have BH2 and here CH2. Here what you will have is CH, right? If you are taking the R group, you can consider this also as an example, like instead of here you will place CH, right? This is your CH, and again here also the CH bond is there, double bond CH. So here what happens, when BH3 will come and bind, and that is your HBH2, one of the hydride will go and attack to the carbon. Meanwhile, this alkene will go and bind to the BH2. So what you will get, first there is the transition state formation, and later the attack of the BH2 will be shown in the ring. Okay, and then the intramolecular addition will takes place. So when the intramolecular addition will takes place, then what happens, this alkene in one of the hydrogen, that is your HBH, right? And so that hydride will go and attack to the carbon, and this alkene will go and bind to the boron atom. So what happens here, there will be an intramolecular addition reaction which is going to take place. So if I have to show you here, so this is your H and BH. Okay, BH. So here what happens, this one goes and attacks to the carbon atom of your alkene, and again similarly this carbon atom of your alkene, this bond will go and attack to your boron. Okay, so what happens here, you can see here there is the formation of your one bond over here, right? There is the attack of this BH over here, and there is a formation of your CH2 over here. Here if you can see, the methylene atom will be present, right? Right, so and then there is the formation of your CH2, and then BH will go and bind. That is your intramolecularly the addition is taking place. Alright, and then there is a formation of 9 BBN and leading to the formation of your 9 bora bicyclo 331 non-N. Alright, so here if you will see, if we are taking the two reagents, that is your two reagents is nothing but at SiA2BH, that is your disamyl borane. Okay, disamyl borane, remember that reagent, and 9 BBN which I have shown you in the previous slide, that both the reagents will be used wherein there is only one hydroboration reaction takes place. If there is a 2 hydroboration reaction which is required, then we are using the hexyl borane. Okay, that is this reagent which is prepared by the dimethyl butene. Alright, so dimethyl butene, from the dimethyl butene, when it is treated it with the borane, and then hexyl borane is prepared, which is used for the hydroboration reactions. Okay, when the two hydroboration reaction is there, then we are using the thiazyl borane. Okay, and that is your THBH2. You can represent that it as like this form. Okay, you can see this structure over here. This can be similar to this form. And here where the hydroboration is not restricted, the hydroboration is not restricted to alkynes, and also it will react to the to give the gem diborane with BH3. So when an alkyne is treated with the BH3, then trivinyl borane is obtained. These are just the simple addition reactions. And then moving on to next point, if we are taking the trivinyl borane, and that will further react with the borane to give you trialkyl borane form. Okay, and when an sterically hindered dialkyl borane is treated with this reagent, okay, when it reacts with an alkyne, this is your sterically hindered dialkyl borane. Okay, and that is your disamyl borane, and so that reacts with an alkyne to give you the vinyl borane. Alright, right, so you are taking the alkyl, that is your alkynes, and then you are treating it with the sterically hindered borane, and then you are resulting in the transalkene formation. Okay, the alkynes is reduced to an alkene bond, triple bond to double bond. Moving on to next point, that is your if there is an asymmetric boranes that can be made which are used in the enantioselective synthesis. Here the enantioselective synthesis will come into picture, that is your asymmetric synthesis part. Okay, the reagents of that choice can be prepared from the plus and minus alpha pinene that you will study in the natural products, right? So alpha pinenes and all. Also, either you can take the plus alpha pinene or the minus alpha pinene. And so if you are taking the plus alpha pinene and if you are treating it with the diborane, and it will form the minus diisopinaco camphenyl borane, and that enantiomer that can be represented it as the minus is IPC2BH, that is your diisopinaco camphenyl borane. Okay, and you will have the one more as the minor product, that is your plus monoisopinaco camphenyl borane, and likewise if you are taking the minus alpha pinene, you will have the plus IBC2BH and minus IPCBH2. Okay, the both of the enantiomers you will get. Alright, and then let's begin with the reaction. That is, if you will see over here, that is you are getting one of the di product and one is your monosubstituted product, that is your diisopinaco camphenyl borane and monoisopinaco camphenyl borane. Okay, you are taking the plus or minus alpha pinene, 2 molecules of alpha pinene if you will take, and if you are treating it with the BH3 borane in presence of DMS, then you will result in the diisopinaco pinocamphenyl borane. Alright, if you are taking the 1 molecule of your alpha pinene and then if you are treating it with the BH3, then you will get one of your or monoisocamphenyl borane. Okay, pinocamphenyl borane. Then moving on to next slide, if you will see here I have shown you the reduction of the compounds, that is the reduction with the boranes and the alkyl boranes. If you are taking in this side, you are taking the reactants, and here you are forming the products after hydrolysis. So the carboxylic acids will undergo reduction to give you the CH2OH, aldehydes to again the CH2OH, then ketones to your or CHOH, nitriles to an amines, and then CONR to your CH2NR, and then nitroso compounds. Okay, nitroso compounds to an alcohols, and again the epoxides are again forming you the alcohol products. and again if you are taking the esters, then you are getting the alcohols over here. Here what are the following groups which can't be reduced? So in this borane, the acyl chlorides can't be reduced, that is your acid chlorides, and then nitro compounds and sulfonyl compounds, that is your SO2, and RX, alkyl halides, this cannot be reduced. And you will have in the reduction priority, if you will see, you have to go by this way. Carboxylic acid is greater than the alkene, which is also greater than the aldehydes, then ketones, then nitrites and epoxides, then esters. Okay, and then if you will move on to the reduction of the carbonyl compounds, if we are taking the ketone molecules, that is your one of your carbonyl compound, if we are taking it with the BH3, that is your boron on borane, here the oxygen which is having a lone pair of electrons in the carbonyl compound will go and bind to the, will go and attack to the boron atom. Okay, when it goes and attacks to the boron atom, this boron which is having the lone pair which is vacant. Okay, so because of this vacant p orbital over here, the oxygen, there is the easy way of attacking the lone pair of electrons. Okay, so once it will go and attack over here, the oxygen will gain the positive charge and the boron atom will gain a negative charge. Alright, and so after that there is a rearrangement which is taking place, hydride shift. This hydrogen will this bond will shift to the carbon atom. Meanwhile, the double bond which is present between the carbon and oxygen, one of the bond will neutralize the positive charge of the oxygen atom, resulting you in the this structure. Alright, and then again you have to treat it with the a carbonyl compound, that is your ketones. Same criteria will happen, like again the same case will takes place, the hydride shift and all. First you have to open the BH2, that is your BH, one bond H. Okay, hydride will again go and attack to the carbon atom, and meanwhile there is a shifting in and after that you will get back this structure. Again when you will attack to the one more of the ketone molecule, that is your carbonyl compound, you will get trialkoxy borane. Okay, and then if you are taking the trialkoxy borane, upon hydrolysis it will result in the alcohols with the cleavage of your or boron trihydroxide. Moving on to the reactions of the aldehydes with the allyl borane. So this is your allyl borane, and if you are treating it with an aldehyde, the oxygen will have the lone pair of electron, will go and attack to the boron atom. Okay, once it will go and attack to the boron atom, then you will form this adduct formation. Okay, so here I have not made the bond of your hydrogen, because it is understood if there is no bond, that is your hydrogen will be sitting over here. If there is a bond and if we have not written any of the atom, that means your methyl group will be present over here. Okay, so here if you will see, this is undergoing a 3 plus 3 cycloaddition reaction. So you can name it as 1, 2 and 3 for this side allyl borane part. And then if you are seeing here, 1 to the boron atom, that is your heteroatom, and 2 for your oxygen, and 3. Don't get confused, it is not a plus 2 state. Okay, this oxygen is gaining a plus charge because it is having a 3 bonds in it. And then if there is a 3 plus 3 cycloaddition, this bond will go and attack to the third position of your terminal alkene. Meanwhile, this bond between the carbon and the oxygen double bond, this bond will neutralize the positive charge of the oxygen atom. Meanwhile, there is a cleavage of this 1 to 1 bond. Okay, this bond will shift over here, resulting you in the double bond, and there is a cleavage of your this older sigma bond. Okay, and then there is generation of one new pi bond. And after the formation of this structure, there is the hydrolysis which is taking place. Upon hydrolysis, this whole moiety will get cleaved out by addition of your water molecule. One of the hydrogen will go and bind to the oxygen. First it will gain a negative charge, it will abstract the proton from the water molecule, and then OH minus will go and bind to the boron atom, and you will get back this product. Okay. And if we are taking in the second example, if I am showing you with the substituent attached to the such as your carboxylic acid and your nitro substituent, we have said you earlier that the nitro compounds will not be reduced. Okay, so here the nitro compounds are not getting reduced. Remember, please don't do the reduction and that like NO2 to NH2. Okay, don't do that reduction. If the NO2 is there in the presence of SnCl2, then only the NH2 group will be reduced, not in case of the boranes. So here only carboxylic acid will get reduced to the alcohol form in presence of BH3 or THF and in the aqueous medium. Okay, the next point, if you will see here, the initial reaction of the carboxylic acids with the borane will evolve the hydrogen and to produce the acyloxy boranes. So here what happens, if you are taking the carboxylic acid and if you are treating it with the borane, initially you will form the acyloxy boranes. Okay, and here with the cleavage of the one of the hydrogen atom, here you can see this ring, that is your try acyloxyborane, how it will be there. Okay, the oxygen will donate the lone pair of electrons into the boron empty orbital. Alright, here you can see this is a carboxylic acids groups, carboxylates attached to the boron atom. Okay, this is how you have to show. And then if you are taking this is your reaction and which we are showing you. So 3 molecules of your RCOOH, when it goes and attacks to the borane, and then you have to get this step. Okay, then you will have this one, and that is your formation of your acyloxyborane is formed. And then again if you are treating it with the borane in the fast condition, and then the alcohol is formed. Okay, upon hydrolysis then the alcohol is formed. Then the reduction of the epoxides with the borane will give you the less substituted alcohol forms that will be your major product. So here you are taking an epoxide, and if you are treating it with the borane, so first case is the oxygen which is having a lone pair of electron will go and bind. Okay, so this lone pair of electron will go and attack to the boron atom. When it goes and attacks to the boron atom, then you will get this structure, that is boron will gain a negative charge, which you can see it over here. The oxygen will gain a positive charge. Okay, so after the formation of the positive charge, again you can see here the carbon which is having a partially positive. Okay, and this is also having a positive charge. So there is a hydride transfer intramolecularly. The BH3, you have to open this BH3, and once you will open the BH3, then what happens, this bond will shift to the carbon atom, and again this CO bond will shift and it will make it as a one second. And so what happens here is this bond will shift and you will get back this structure RCH, R2, OCH, CHR, and then NOBH2. Okay, and after the formation of this, upon hydrolysis, the alcohol is formed. Alright, this cleavage is there, not there is no formation of your double bond over here. This bond will neutralize the positive charge of the oxygen. Okay, please don't mistake that one. Alright, right, and then moving on to the next reaction, if you will see here, the reaction will be catalyzed by the sodium borohydride, that is your reducing agent, and high yields of the alcohols will be obtained over here. So if you are taking this starting material, and then if you are treating it with the acetylation reaction, and under the condition of your diborane THF, upon hydrolysis is first there are two conditions upon treatment with the lithium aluminum hydride, and you will result in the carboxylic acid will remain same, and only the esters group, that is your COCH3, will be reduced to your alcohol. All again upon cyclization, and you are getting the S mevalonolactone. And again, if you are taking this reagents, upon treatment with this reagent, the carboxylic acid groups are affected. That carboxylic acid will reduce to your alcohols. Esters are not being touched. Okay, and again upon cyclization, you will get your mevalonolactone. And then moving on to this is your next reaction. Okay, and this is your another reaction, and this one is another. So if you are taking the epoxides and under treatment with the diborane and with the sodium borohydride, here we have shown you the lithium aluminum hydride, right? So sodium borohydride upon THF 0 degrees Celsius hydrolysis. Thank you. If you have any doubts, you can ask me in the comment box.